Welcome to the El Salvador SV News Podcast, a space for conversation and reflection where we explore current topics from El Salvador and the world together. You can support this project via PayPal. You'll also find details in the description of this content or by purchasing digital content of products you might like. Check out what interests you and make a purchase. With that, you help and support us to continue providing content. You'll find all the methods in the content description. Find us on your favorite platform, on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio. We're on almost all platforms as Noticias El Salvador SV. And welcome to the deep dive. We've got a monumental stack of sources in front of us today. We're looking at everything from global finance to some really sharp political shifts in Latin America, and of course what's happening right here at home in El Salvador.
Exactly. And our mission for you today is to really synthesize all of it. We're not just going to read you headlines. We want to connect the dots between these huge global moves, the Fed cutting rates, massive tech IPOs, and what that actually means on the ground here.
The real-world impact on El Salvador's economy, its politics, its security.
That's the goal.
We've got a lot of ground to cover. Okay, let's unpack this. And I think we have to start with the political fault lines we're seeing across the region.
Absolutely. And the big one is the news out of Venezuela, Maria Corina Machado winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
A huge symbolic win. She dedicated it to all Venezuelans, right?
She did, but it's what she said after that really raised the temperature. She made some incredibly strong claims.
Oh, yeah. I saw the quote. She said, Venezuela is being, and I'm quoting here, invadida by Russians, Iranians, and terrorists from Hezbollah and Hamas.
I mean, that's not just a political statement. That's framing it as a full-blown international conflict. It completely changes the conversation.
And it's not just talk, is it? She also confirmed she got help from the United States to leave the country,
while vowing to return. So you have confirmed high-level backing from the United States. That signals a very serious strategic pressure campaign is ongoing.
And speaking of pressure, we saw former United States President Donald Trump aim some of that pressure at another leader.
Right, a very public warning to Gustavo Petro. He basically said, you're the next after Nicolas Maduro.
It's just so direct. It really highlights the ideological battle lines being drawn.
And it's not just warnings. We're seeing actual consequences play out. Look at Bolivia.
The detention of former President Luis Arce.
Exactly. It's tied to a corruption probe from way back when he was Minister of Economy under Evo Morales. It's a powerful reminder that leaving office doesn't mean you're in the clear.
A strong signal about accountability, for sure. Okay, before we jump into the markets, a quick stop in Asia.
Yeah, just a quick diplomatic note. Thailand's leader mentioned he's going to explain and clarify their conflict with Cambodia directly to Donald Trump.
Interesting. It just shows how much weight the United States still carries in these really complex regional disputes, even with a former president.
The geopolitical board is always moving. But let's shift from that to capital. We need to talk about the tech giants, starting with Oracle.
Oracle had I'd say a brutal day.
It was a brutal reaction from the market. And what's so strange is that the report itself looked pretty good on the surface.
That's the paradox, isn't it? Their earnings per share, their EPS, actually beat Wall Street's expectations.
It did. But total revenue missed, just by a tiny fraction,
right.
And the stock just plummeted, double-digit drop.
So what's going on there?
It all comes down to AI. The market is just so sensitive to it right now. Oracle's cloud division, OCI, had fantastic growth, 14% year over year.
And that's all driven by AI infrastructure contracts, I assume?
Exactly. And that pushed their backlog, what they call remaining performance obligations, or RPO, to a record high.
So RPO is basically future money that's already locked in from deals they signed. If that's at a record high, their AI future looks solid. So why the punishment from investors?
Because that's the new baseline. Flawless, spectacular growth in AI is now just the expectation. It's not a bonus anymore. So if any other part of their business shows the slightest weakness, the market hammers them. The margin for error is basically zero.
Wow. From an established giant feeling the heat to a new one on the horizon. SpaceX. The IPO plans are just staggering.
The scale is almost hard to comprehend. They're reportedly looking at mid to late 2026, maybe 2027.
And they're trying to raise over $30 billion.
$30 billion. If they do it, it would beat Saudi Aramco for the biggest IPO in history. And the valuation,
$1.5 trillion.
projected at 1.5 with a chance of hitting 2 trillion after it lists. It's almost all driven by the growth of Starlink.
And here's a little detail I found fascinating, connecting SpaceX to crypto.
Oh yeah.
The report mentioned that SpaceX has been quietly moving a lot of Bitcoin, over 8,900 BTC in 2023.
See, that's what institutional adoption actually looks like. Not a big flashy announcement, just quiet, large-scale activity in the background.
Which brings us to the broader macro environment. And the big signal came from the Federal Reserve this week.
It did. The Fed cut interest rates 25 basis points.
So the new range is 4 to 4.25%. And analysts are already predicting more, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Mark Hafel over at UBS is on record expecting 4 more 25-point cuts.
And the justification for that is the cooling economy.
Pretty much. Inflation is still a bit sticky. CPI is at 2.9%, core is 3.1%, but the job market has definitely slowed down. Job creation is noticeably weaker.
But wait, 4 more cuts. Core inflation is still over 3%. Does that sound a little premature to you? Or is the jobs slowdown really that convincing?
That is the multi-trillion-dollar debate right now. But that hope for more cuts, plus all the geopolitical stuff we talked about, is exactly why gold is up nearly 40% in 2025. It's the classic safe haven.
So how is crypto handling it? Bitcoin seems to be just holding on.
Holding steady is a good way to put it. It's trading around $90,350. It found good support at $88,200, but it just can't seem to break through that resistance at $94,500.
But the altcoin market is a different story.
A very different story. It's weak, really weak. You see tokens like EFI, FEST, ADA, PMP, all down over 8%.
And this is the fallout from those liquidations back in October.
It is. There's just very little liquidity left in the system. The key number to watch here for you is the CoinMarketCap Altcoin Season Index. It's at 19 out of 100.
19. I remember it was in the 70s not too long ago.
It was 77 in September.
Yeah.
A drop to 19 basically means all the risk appetite is gone. Money is huddled in Bitcoin, not flowing out into smaller projects.
So capital is just consolidating.
Exactly. It's stifling everything else. The one exception, though, was Monero XMR.
The privacy coin. It was up a bit, right?
Up over 2%. It just shows that even in a shrinking market, there's still a strong, dedicated niche for privacy.
Okay, before we pivot and bring this deep dive back home to El Salvador, we just need to hit pause for a quick but really important reminder.
Yeah, being able to connect these huge global trends to what's happening locally, that's why we put so much research into this.
And honestly, your support is what makes that deep research possible. It keeps this analysis going. You can partner with us through PayPal or by checking out the digital content for sale. All the methods and links are right there in the description. Your support is just crucial for us.
Okay, so let's bring the lens home. Let's focus on the big national stories in El Salvador. And I think we have to start with something that could fundamentally change the country's politics.
Overseas voting.
Exactly. The Supreme Electoral Tribunal, the TSE, is projecting that they could have over 1 million citizens registered to vote from abroad for the 2027 elections.
1 million. That is a massive number. That's not just a voting bloc, that's a political force.
It's a fundamental shift. They already have more than 932,000 Salvadorans with a DUI abroad registered right now. If they hit that 1 million mark, the diaspora becomes a deciding factor in any election.
It completely changes how you'd have to run a campaign.
Absolutely. And on the diplomatic front, we're seeing that El Salvador's security model is getting a lot of attention.
You mean Costa Rican President Chaves visiting?
Right. He's scheduled to talk with President Bukele specifically about security policies. It's a clear signal that other countries in the region are watching and maybe looking to learn from it.
And that focus on security is reflected in the day-to-day news, with some key arrests being reported.
2 big ones. First, authorities arrested the suspect in that horrific murder of a young woman in San Juan Nonualco. She was killed with a knife in her own home.
Just awful. And the other?
They also detained a notorious MS-13 gang member in San Miguel, the one they call Nuca Torcida.
And the courts are handing down heavy sentences for these kinds of crimes.
Very heavy, up to 16 years for 3 extortionists in Chalatenango, San Salvador, and Apopa. It shows a very firm judicial posture.
But this whole security policy, it's not without friction, especially internationally.
Not at all. On one side, you have organizations getting ready to present evidence to international bodies about alleged forced labor of prisoners under the state of exception.
And on the other side.
On another, the United States government is refusing to allow attorney testimony in a case about alleged contempt related to CECOT.
CECOT, just to remind everyone, is the high security prison. So a refusal from the United States government there that signals some pretty serious ongoing tension over how these policies are being carried out.
For sure. Now, shifting gears to the economy, we're getting some mixed signals out of the manufacturing sector.
Right. The textilers announced 5 new free trade zones, which sounds like great news for investment and jobs.
It does. But at the same time, the sector is estimating a 4% drop in foreign exchange earnings for 2025.
So they're building more facilities, but expecting to earn less money from exports. How does that work?
It suggests that global demand is shaky, or maybe their own costs are rising. Either way, it could undermine the value of that new investment.
So to try and fix that, they're investing in people, the new Ritos Institute.
Precisely. It's designed to provide technical training for the industrial zone. It's a critical move to upskill the workforce and boost productivity.
And there was a small piece of good news for the agricultural sector.
A very welcome bit of good news. The international price of coffee hit a 6-month high, a real lift for farmers.
That's great to hear. But that good news is kind of overshadowed by what analysts are calling a time bomb for the Salvadoran economy.
The pension system, and they're not exaggerating, it's a huge problem.
The number I saw was $2,721.7 million in new pension debt. It's a staggering figure. But why do they call it a time bomb? What makes it so explosive?
It's explosive because of how the government is paying for it right now. They're basically funding current pension payouts by taking on massive amounts of internal debt.
So they're borrowing from the country's future to pay today's retirees.
That's exactly it. That $2.7 billion is a liability that puts a crushing weight on future budgets. If they don't fix it, it could cripple the country's finances for decades.
So reform isn't a choice, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're finally moving on it.
They are. The Assembly is creating a special commission, and the Ministry of Finance is working with the IMF on an actuarial study. They have to get the math right this time.
Okay, finally, let's touch on environment and health. A quick look ahead to the weather in 2026.
The Ministry of Environment is projecting a neutral Niño phenomenon, so rainfall should be pretty similar to 2025.
But we should brace for some heat.
Yes. Graciela Aguilar noted that we should expect significant heat waves in March and April before the rainy season really kicks in around June.
And on the health front, a really important preventative study.
The CKD Cure study, yeah. It's led by Salvadoran specialists, and it's focused on preventing chronic kidney disease in the very vulnerable communities of Bajo Lempa. It's a huge investment in getting ahead of a serious health problem.
So let's try to wrap all of that up. This deep dive went everywhere.
Yeah.
We started with that global anxiety in finance.
Right, the market punishing Oracle despite its strong AI backlog.
The absolutely historic scale of the SpaceX IPO.
1.5 trillion.
And Bitcoin just holding its ground around $90,000 after the Fed cut rates to that 4 to 4.25% range.
And then we connected all that global noise to the story right here. The potential 1 million overseas voters changing the political map.
The high-profile security cooperation with President Chaves visit contrasted with the legal friction over CECOT.
And of course, that massive financial pressure from the $2.7 billion pension debt. Time bomb that's ticking because of how it's being funded.
And before we leave you with a final thought, we just have to say it one more time. We really work hard to bring this level of quality and analysis to you. Your collaboration, your donation is what ensures the continuity of this deep dive.
It really is. You can contribute through PayPal or by purchasing digital content. All the links you need are in the description.
So what's the final takeaway here? The big so what?
I think the central so what is this deep tension at the heart of the national strategy. On one hand, El Salvador is spending a ton of political capital on international security cooperation, and it's getting results, like the arrest we talked about. But at the same time, there's this enormous internal economic crisis, that pension debt, that's screaming for attention. So the big question is, what happens when the political focus that's so heavily on security has to pivot to fix a fiscal time bomb, maybe with pressure from the IMF?
That tension is going to define the next year. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We really encourage you to explore these topics further. We'll talk to you next time.